What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bowls Deep Fishing. Today we are going to talk about my DIY floating fishing net. Check it out.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah.
Back to the channel. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about my DIY fishing net. This has been, a lot of tournaments I've fished. I've been asked about this particular net. Where did I get it? How did I do it? So on and so forth. So I kind of want to talk to you about how I've made the lines cutter floating net I got on Amazon, and I've extended the arm. So again, this is the line cutters floating fishing net, kayak fishing net. It's a very cool little net, and it floats, guys. So I've had a bunch of nets in the past. I never used the Yak Attack leverage landing net. I never could afford it, never really, messed with it. I've always used, your traditional nets or your trout fishing nets, so on and so forth. And then about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I switched to the line cutters floating net. The reason why I switched to it is because I was floating a tournament in the Chestatee River in Dahlonega, Georgia, and I hooked into a very large shoalie, and as soon as I went to boat flip it into my boat, I lost him. And Anthony Ridley can speak to this. I lost my mind, to say the least, and I believe he has it on footage. But it just drove me crazy. So ever since that tournament, I wanted to invest in a net that was, very durable and floating, and it being floating just put it at the top of my list, because I can't tell you how many times it has fell in the water and it has started to sink to the bottom. I either had to jump in and get it, or I lost the net that day. And so that's what pushed me to it. It comes in, I want to say, 2 or 3 different colors: green, orange, and I want to say white or black. I can't remember the other colors they have. But I'm a green man, so I like the green color. And what I typically do is I usually just set it on the front hatch of my boat and leave it there. Leave it there all day, because for one, I didn't have to worry about it. If it did fall in the water, I could easily retrieve it because it floated. And then also at the end of the handle's probably, 8 inches long. It had a bungee cord attached to it with a clip, so I could easily clip it to a pad eye on my boat. So just to add some extra security to it. But this year, and from fishing my last year tournaments, I ran into a lot of the problem of, with the handle being so short, every time I went to net it, I was either missing it, or I was it was just too much going on, so I needed a longer handle. And so that's whenever I went ahead and actually did it today, is I added a 1-inch PVC pop to the end of it, okay? The reason why it's a 1-inch PVC pop, I think it's 24 inches long. These are already pre-cut at Home Depot, Ace Hardware, Lowe's, wherever. Just go into the PVC section, and you'll see a rack that has, certain sections already pre-cut like this. To be honest with you, I didn't really know the size. I was thinking the original handle was around 1 inch or maybe a little under. So, these things are like $2.99 a piece. So I went ahead and got the 1 inch to see if it would fit over the handle, because I wanted a snug fit. And whenever I got back to the house, it was the same diameter of the handle. So your handle is about 1 inch with the pad on it. So I didn't really want to go back to the store. So what I decided to do is, if you heat PVC up with a heat gun or a flame or anything like that, it becomes more pliable, or you could easily bend it, maneuver it, so on and so forth. So what I did is, since I wanted that snug fit, I went ahead and heated up the end of it, and then I applied even pressure all the way onto it, and actually got the butt of the handle already slid into the pipe, and then I easily just heated up the pipe as I went down. You know, every so often heat it up a little bit, push it down, heat it up a little bit, pushed it down. And so on top of that, it already made it completely snug. But who knows, you know, maybe one day I'll look up and catch like a 15-pound bass or a big old striper, and I want to use my net, and I didn't want the weight of that fish to eventually pull this out. So I went ahead, I had just a little bolt and a nut around the house, and I went ahead and drilled, after the PVC pipe was on, I went ahead and drilled straight through the PVC pipe, straight through the handle, and out the other end, and attached a locking nut to the back of it. I don't think I needed that for any particular reason, but I want to go ahead and take that extra step and add a bolt through it, just in case it did slide off, it'll have something to catch it. There's no wiggle, no wobble, nothing whatsoever in this net or in this handle extension I've created. I did go ahead and paint it black, flat black. I like black. You can really paint it any color you want to. But for instance, or just a little tip here. If you're ever spray painting PVC pipe, okay, make sure you don't just go get the cheap spray paint. Take it up a knot or two, or a step or two up. Some outdoor paint is always the best. What I also like to do is I like to take some sandpaper and lightly go over the PVC pipe before I spray it, because it helps the paint adhere to that PVC pipe a whole lot better. And so basically that's it, guys. So, and the reason why this is because I can keep a good distance on the fish with my line, and I can just pull it up on a rod, and then I can easily scoop it with this extension arm on it. Used to only had, like I said, about 6-8 inches of handle, so I have to pull that fish all the way to it, and it ended up jumping around and potentially coming off, so I needed a longer handle to make it fit where I could easily reach the fish more easily. And on top of that, guys, you know, one thing I do like about the Yak Attack leverage landing net is that little arm bar that it has. So if you do get a heavy fish, it's almost like a pistol grip. You can easily have a little bit more momentum to it. So that's one thing I do like about the Yak Attack leverage landing net. But I still like my floating net. I like how light it is, how easy it is. I like the rubber coating net on it. So whenever I do catch a fish with a crankbait or anything like that, all the hooks do not get stuck into the net. That's one thing I did run into in my previous nets. And another thing I'm going to do, just to add a little bit more grip and a little bit more color to it, is I'm actually going to take, if you're an athlete or if you're in the medical field, you ever heard of pre-wrap? So pre-wrap is almost like, it's a mixture between medical tape and medical gauze. So it's actually medical gauze that you can wrap around, and it adheres to itself. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just going to take some pre-wrap and wrap the end of it, just to give me a nice little sturdy handle or a sturdy grip to it. But this is going to come in handy. And what's really cool about this too, guys, I know you really can't tell, but whenever I measure my fish, I usually keep my catch board, whenever I'm measuring fish, it's in between my feet on the deck of the boat. I don't like to put my catch board in my lap like most people do, because in my opinion, I've had a lot more fish flop off of that board when it's in my lap versus when it's down. I have more control of the fish. It just seems to work out better for me. And so what I do with my catch board is I put one end of it obviously on the left side, then I actually put the other end on top of my kayak, so it kind of gives it a little bit of angle to it to help keep that fish snug to the bump board. But still, your fish can always flop, especially it being right there to the side of it. Side of the kayak, you can easily flop. So what I do is I typically hang my net off the side of my kayak like so, while I'm measuring my fish. So if it does flop, hopefully that fish is going to flop into the net and you're not going to lose your catch of the day. But another cool feature is to this PVC pipe and this longer arm is, if you have a taco grip on the other side of your, or on your kayak somewhere, you can easily attach this net into the taco grip like so. Clamp it down just like that. So usually, hold on, let me get its position right. So now with that arm being, so it's sitting on my taco grip right now, my paddle grip. So now whenever I set up my net to, whenever I'm measuring my fish, I set up my net, it has an extra secure place for that net to sit. That's another reason why I went with PVC versus anything else is because, for one, it's easy, it's cheap, and it'll still fit in that taco grip to be able to basically position my net, you know, right there near the catch board. So if my fish does flop, it goes straight into the net, guys. But I'm excited about it. It's a pretty cool, cheap little DIY. It's lightweight. It's still very manageable. I will still store it at the top of, or on my front hatch like so. Another cool thing that you can do if you're not using one of your rod tubes or your rod holder in your crate, you can easily slide it down like so, and easily storable, easily secured. So there's a lot of different ways you can mount this to your boat. In my opinion, I still just like it on the front hatch because it's more, in my opinion, it's more easy access for me. It's a matter of me just reaching up, grabbing it, and it's right there ready to rock and roll. But this handle is going to come in clutch for the 2021 season. Hopefully I'll hook into some big girls and be able to use this sucker. I would hate for it to just be sitting on top of my front hatch and I don't catch no fish for the 2021 season. So fingers crossed. But guys, that is a quick, easy DIY thing that is very, very useful. And not only for fishing terms, for any type of fishing or netting of fish. Because a lot of the nets these days, if they're not kayak specific, they're coming with a shorter handle. You need to have, in my opinion, a longer handle for your net, guys. But thank y'all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop a comment in the comment section below. And I will be doing a little bit more modifying to it, like I said, wrapping it with pre-wrap, you know, giving me a nice little handle. But like I said, guys, pretty cheap, easy DIY that you can definitely do in your garage or with the stuff laying around your house, guys. So thank y'all so much for watching. Stay tuned. I got some more stuff coming y'all way. Oh, I got some good content, guys. Some juicy, juicy good content, guys. But stay tuned and keep them tight lines. Deuces.